So today is Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, and we are all packed up to go to Tennessee. And I was going to write on my diary. However, I decided that a better idea would be to do this video so that I can look back and reflect on it. I have lived in San Diego for a little bit over 8 years. This past November was 8 years. I came here because my aunt was sick with cancer, and I helped her transition. It was the toughest 3 months of my life. And after a few days, or actually a few days before she passed away, she asked me as a favor that I would stay here in San Diego and help with my grandmother, who is, she was 89 at the time. 89, no, she was like 86 at the time. 99, yeah, not 86. She was 86. So my aunt used to take care of her and help her and aid her with um, everything that she needed. And so she asked that I would stay here in San Diego and help grandma till she was gone. Well, I was here for 8 years and I kept my promise. And so now it's time to move forward. After my grandmother passed, I knew that I had to retake my life because before I moved here to San Diego, I had a social life, I had friends, I had a job that I loved. Life was really good. However, God had another plan, right? Like, you plan your life, and then there's a saying that says that if you want to make God laugh, you need to tell him your plans. And so I literally just one day grabbed my stuff and I moved to San Diego, and I never looked back. And it's been 8 years. After grandma passed away this past January was a year, I decided that it was time to move forward with my life, to rebuild my life, to pick up the pieces that were left from a life that I once knew, and to start over. And so that's when I decided that it was time to move out of California. And Tennessee just seems like a really good fit for me for what I do. And so that's what I'm doing. It's a little bit bittersweet because I have no friends whatsoever. I don't know anyone in Tennessee except my brother lives there now. I don't know what I'm doing there. So, but I feel like I'm being called to go there. And I feel like everything's going to be fine. Something tells me that everything's going to be fine. And that I will build a life where I'll have the friends, the godly friends, and the job of my dreams and everything that I've ever dreamed of, because you know why? Because I deserve to have that beautiful life. Because I sacrificed for so long to give to others. And I do believe that God rewards all of those who give, you know. I love to read the Bible every morning, and this morning I was meditating and reading the Bible, and I just keep being reminded that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and that we have to take the step for God to direct us. And so I'm really excited to take that step of faith. Like I said, I don't know where I'm going, but I know that everything's going to be fine, and that I'm going to look back and realize that the plan that God had include those 8 years in order to form me and transform my life. In the past 8 years, I have learned so much because that's when I got close to God and I started reading the Bible and I started meditating and praying. And I know that God has a plan for me because the Bible says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So no, I know that God has a plan, and so I have come to the point where I have surrendered whatever I thought my life was supposed to be, and just go with God's plan. And all I prayed this morning, and I ask if you are the praying kind to pray that God gives me what's the next step, because I'm taking this step blindfolded on faith and faith alone. Um, I don't know where I'm going. We have an apartment. I mean, don't get me wrong. We do have an apartment we rented, and I need to take time to know what's the next step. And I just hope that I know that I'm doing the right thing. I feel it in my heart, and that's one of the I think that's one of the signs that you're doing the right thing is when you have peace in your heart. And I know that when you take a step, I love the saying, jump and the net will appear. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that in order to know what's next, you have to be brave enough to take a step, and then God will show you the next step. And then if you do the right thing in the next step, then God will give you the next step. And I truly believe that. I I have faith that that's what's happening. And like I said, I've never, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never really liked living here in San Diego. I was here because I was brought here, and I really do believe that I was brought here because God had a plan to mature me, because the person that I was 8 years ago is not the same person that I am today. And I do believe that you mature in the difficult times. And let me just tell you, in the past 8 years, there has been a lot of difficult times, especially the year prior to my grandmother's passing. That year was perhaps the toughest year of my life. And I'll tell you a story. So when my grandma was in the hospital, so I'm also telling myself this so I'd never forget it. I don't think I'll forget it, but I want to be reminded every time I watch this video. When grandma was in the hospital, a few months before she passed, I was the one there with her like 8 hours a day, because she was in this, not a hospital, but a facility. It was like a hospice facility. And she was very sick, very ill, and I was growing really tired. I remember I was growing really weary. But every time I remember that God says, "Come to me, all you who are burdened and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to God that I know the Bible, the scriptures, because I keep going back to what God says. And I remember that Bible verse, and then I would go outside and put my forehead to the wall and just ask God for grace to finish the task that I was given. Because I believe that this was a task for me from birth, and my proof is that I was the one doing it. Had If God had this plan for somebody else, I truly believe there would have been somebody else doing it. But the fact that I was the one doing it, then it means that I was supposed to be the one doing it. To the point where I actually told my cousins, they lived in Kansas and they came to visit and see grandma, and I told them, don't feel bad about not being here all the time because you have your family, you live far away. Because I believe that I was the one to finish. I was given this task and I was supposed to finish, and I did. And I'm proud of myself for doing that, because when my aunt was sick 8 years ago, I remember towards the last days that she was very ill, and I was just asking God, please take her. Please, if you're going to take her, please, please, please come and get her, because she's suffering a lot. But looking back 8 years later, I can tell you the reason why I would say that is because I was tired. I was, like I said, taken from my comfortable life and put in a situation where I have to do things I never thought I would have to do and see things that I never thought I would see. And so, fast forward 8 years with my grandmother, I was in the same situation, but I would say to God, if you're going to get her, come fetch her, because she's suffering a lot. I will endure as long as you need me to endure. As tired as I am and as weary as I am, I'm tired, but I know that you give me the grace and you give me strength to keep going. But she's suffering a lot. And so when she was gone, I had no, like me and my mom talk about it all the time. And because we're the ones that helped her till the end, we have no regrets. We have peace in our hearts. And so that's how I know that moving forward, everything's going to be great. Good things come to those who wait. But those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength, the Bible says. They will walk and not grow weary. They will run and not faint. And I do believe, like, God is giving me a new beginning, a new chapter in my life, and I'm super excited. I don't know where it all go, but I'm super excited. And I know this for sure. And this is something that my grandma used to say all the time. Anywhere you go, God is there already. So this is what I know for sure, that even though I don't have the details, I know that God is waiting for me to go there so he can direct my steps. And so we're leaving tomorrow morning, Monday, and I'm super excited. It's a long trip from San Diego all the way to Nashville, Tennessee. We'll probably do it in 2 days, 2.5 days. And um, I'm super excited also because I'll get to do brand new content about furnishing the apartment, um, and the process of buying a house and all of that. So I'm super excited to go back to when I started my channel, which was more like home decorating. That's hence the name Ramon at Home. More tablescapes, more DIYs and table decorating and coffee tables and everything that entails a home. I've always loved that, and we're going back to that. And I just know that there's just so much waiting for me. I have this sense that I'm being called there because there is something for me there, and I'm super excited to discover what that is. So I really want to look back at this video sometime and realize that I was right and that God was calling me there and that He did indeed have a plan for my life and that everything is going to be how I ever imagined it. You know, godly friends, a great job, and content for the channel to inspire you, to encourage you, and to entertain you. And I just want to look back in a few years at this video and say, man, I knew it. I knew it because I have a feeling that everything's going to be just fine. And so I'm super excited to take you guys along. And I'm just really, really excited. I cannot be more excited about the move. And I really hope that you are excited for us and that you will continue to tune in. And I won't have to write because I made this video. I love writing, don't get me wrong, and I think I still will because I love putting on my journal. And I just ask that if you are the praying kind, pray for me, pray for us. I know that I feel like the hand of God is on us in this time, and we're just moving on faith. So I want to encourage you that if there's something in your life that is telling you that there is something you should do, listen to your heart, listen to the voice in your head. And like I said, the sign to move forward, I truly believe that is if you have peace, if you feel in your heart everything's going to be fine, then take that step of faith because God will direct the next step. But we have to take the first step. God is not going to come here and move me. I have to move. And I believe that the blessing is in the moving. We have to take steps. We have to move forward. We have to do our part and then God will do his part. And I truly believe that. And so I'm doing my part, and I'm really excited to see what happens next with this house, with the house in Nashville, with new friends and new people in my life. And I really do hope this is what I am hoping for and praying for, that by the end of this year, I'm already established and that I am decorating people's home for the holidays, which is one of the things I've been dreaming about because that's what I used to do before I came here. And one thing that I have not stopped thinking about it, I really hope and pray that by the end of the year, I will have everything figured out about my business. I really hope that by the end of this year, I will be hired to do speaking engagements and decorating retreats. And I really hope that by the end of this year, I will help as many people with their businesses and their decorating. And that's always been my dream. I'll tell you a story. When I first came to San Diego 9 years ago, I was coming here because my aunt was going to let me borrow some money to open a business back in Kansas. And 2 days later, after I arrived, my aunt was diagnosed with cancer. And so, fast forward, she only lasted 8 months. So, 8 months later, she died. And she took that dream away because I had to stay here and help with grandma. But see, God had another plan, I believe. He had a plan to prosper me and to not harm me and to give me hope and a dream. And I truly believe that His dream for my life is better than those dreams that I had. And I had to fight the surrender part. I have fully surrendered it. I have fully given up my hope for what I had in exchange for what He has for me. And I think that He had to work that out for me. The other thing that I had to learn was to forgive the people that hurt me, because now I understand that, like the Bible says, that the devil means it for bad, but God has a plan and He means it for good. So I had to learn to forgive all the people that hurt me and they wanted to do wrong to me. And I truly pray for them every day that God gives them light and love and hope and dreams. And also, I have to let go of jealousy. Jealousy was one of the toughest things to let go. I became bitter and jealous of some people that have everything that I dreamed of 9 years ago when I first came here, and I was really jealous of them because they got to do all the things that I wanted to do and that I had hopes to do. So that is a one last thing that I have been. I feel like I had to. I'm over it. I'm no longer jealous of these people because now I understand that that's what God has blessed them with, and that God has a plan for my life. And even though He blesses them in a similar way, that doesn't mean that He's taken away from me, but He has a specifically tailor-made plan for my life. Therefore, I cannot be jealous of their life. Then also understand that we can be jealous of people because we don't know what they did to get it or what they continue to do in order to keep it. So therefore, I'm no longer jealous of these people. I bless them also, and I really hope that God gives them an even more thriving business and that they continue to thrive and they continue to inspire others, because I know that what God has for me has my name, and what has my name, it won't be taken away from me. And that is a lesson that I learned because there are certain things that happen in my life where people try to take away from me what had my name on it, and God said, nope, not today. And so still came to me. So I'm very grateful for that. So jealous is another thing that I had to work out. Like I said, that was the last thing that I've been working on, to stop being jealous of people's success and to people who are doing great, and instead blessing them and asking God for their betterment of whatever it is that they're doing, because I now understand that He has a plan for me that is tailor made for my life. And so I do believe, even when the feeling comes, like now I know how to fight it. I pick up the sword of the Spirit and I keep fighting it. And I said, nope, not today, Satan. I'm not going to be jealous because I know God has something for me. And I truly believe that God waits for us to stop being jealous of those who we're jealous of in order to give us what's ours. Because I now understand that God will not bless a jealous heart. And so now I fully understand that. So moving forward, now I understand that if there's somebody there with something I want to do, then I have to first take it to God and see if it is still for me. And if it is for me, He'll make it happen, because like I said, what has your name, it won't overlook you and it will come to you. And all you have to do is align with it and do the work, and then God will. He has shown me that in my life in the past 4 years that when it's for you, God will send the resources, He will send the people, He will send the opportunities if it is aligned with His will. So I really just hope that moving forward, whatever I do, it's aligned with what He wants me to do, and just do His, like, like the Bible says, His will be done and not mine. And I really have worked the past 8 years. It's amazing how, like I said, when I came here with a plan to borrow $75,000 and open a little store in Kansas, but God had another plan. And that plan included 8 years of struggling and refinement and purifying of my heart and all of the things. And that's why I'm excited, because I don't know what's next, but I know whatever's next, I know is going to be amazing. It's going to be great. I have a feeling. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. I will let you go. We'll let you know when we arrive. We'll keep you posted. And we really hope that you're doing great. And pray for me, pray for us. And I want to say thank you, and I will see you soon. Um, Thank you so much. Bye.